Okay, so we're back live for the Sunday race-off, the official one then. 12 laps of the Brno circuit. It's going to be AG06 that starts on a shock pole position, but perhaps Karma's played very nicely into the hands of Van Panther. He will start on the inside line, the favourable line, into turn 1. So now we have those all-important red lights illuminating. We've got 3 red lights, we've got 4 red lights. And now we have a race of Van Panther has got off the line well. Jamie also charges across to the inside. They want the inside line to turn 1. I think Van Panther may just have this one back. He's got the lead already before the corner. Yeah, exactly. So all the races tonight have been, well, not won, but the first corner battle has been won on the inside line. AG06 needs to be careful now. Lounge is not too far away. Shadow Bounty also trying to follow him alongside there. Stuntman Mike is really getting up close and personal with these guys as well. Lounger trying to attack the inside of you on the outside line for the next corner, of course. This is where the carnage ensued last time round. I think this time, no, they've all got through okay. And into turn number 4 they'll go. And side-by-side action there just behind us. That is Jamie and Crazy Buzzy. And I think Jamie may have just got through there. Yes, he does. Buzzy, though, back around the outside. Oh, and they've spotted a big swipe there. And luckily all the other cars avoid it. It is just Jamie and Crazy Buzzy involved. I think it was Mr. Jolly as well. Jolly apparently showed up with a stop and go. We're not too sure if that's for that or if that will be revoked at a later date. But for now, it looks like Jolly maybe was the cause of that incident. Back towards the front end of the field though, it's Van Panther has a massive 6-10 lead as they come towards the end of lap number 1. So back to Gaber there, Bandito, Jolly and Frekinera. All of those guys still in order at the moment, and Buzzy in the chat, they're obviously very displeased with the events he's just seen earlier on. And look at that, there goes Stuntman Mike watching on as Shadow Bounty attacks AG06, and this is played very nicely into the hands of Van Panther because now Van can really focus on winning while Shadow Bounty focuses on attacking AG06. AG needs to be careful. He wants to be trying to attack Van Panther, not surrender a position. AG06 is not on the preferred line, but he will be on the inside for turn 2 if he can keep it. Good move there, good defensive position in there by AG06. The drivers there were wondering why there wasn't a restart, but I don't think there was any need for one in all honesty. As this time Bounty then comes back up the inside of AG06. Is there contact? Yes there is. But Bounty somehow can't quite get the job done as AG06 sweeps it around the outside. Bounty's all over the curbs. And Stuntman Mike already getting a bit loose. Bounty then as well, you can see, trying to go on the inside. And the rest of the cars making their way through. So we've got ourselves still a fairly big grid there today. A total of 11 cars who are navigating their way around the circuit at the moment. While Crazy Buzzy right at the rear end of the field as well. So Van Panther, AG06, Stuntman Mike, Bounty, Lounger, Lolin Fox. Back to Gabus there as well with Bandito attacking him now at the inside in fact. In lap 2, back to Gaber, trying to leave a bit of space. And he's got it done. Well played there to Bandito. All drivers now need to be very aware of their surroundings because the last thing you want to do is surrender yourself a big position as Van Panther comes towards the final corner. Let's compare lap times done on lap number 2. Van Panther seemingly has himself a big 2.6 second gap. Surprising really, because they were separated by 800ths of a second in qualifying. But, oh well, a 158.0 and a 159.1, so yeah, about a second different there. As the rest of the top 5 stream through. That being AGO, Stuntman Mike, Shadow Bounty, Lounger, Lolin Fox, and Bandito rounding out the top 7 as they start lap number 3 out of the 12 here today. The Van Panther really having a field day at the moment at the front of the field. 3.5 seconds now is the gap between himself and AG06. Stuntman Mike in second. Well, he was previously. He's trying to get himself up there with Shadow Bounties. Dropped to P4, so Bounty's going backwards. He was fighting with AG06 and is now going to be Stuntman Mike 24. He has his chance. And now look at that as well. Lounger trying to go out the inside, and Bounty doing very well to hold on there. That was very close indeed. And a bit of a risky movement. Has he lost it? Yes, he has. Lolin Fox is in the wall. I think that's supposed to be the third or fourth car to lose it at that corner there today. Many cars encountering that, I think. Seeming to be quite a common place to crash and lose the back end. A lot of oversteer in the car as you switch back directions. But the field's still not really separated by that much. Only 14 seconds to Jamie, who's still on the end of that train. The other two cars who've been involved in incidents, obviously, a bit further back. But let's take a look at Lounger and Shadow Bounty now. They're P3 and P4. And they're getting, again, quite close now. Lounger really on the attack. Lounger's really getting ready to kind of unload, isn't he, right now? As they come across the start-finish line again, Lounger's really trying to get up alongside Shadow Bounty. Can't get it done through turn 1 this time round, though. Again, trying everything he can. Turn 1 obviously proving to be the hardest race to overtake here today. It's the driver's start. Lap number 4 out of 12. Lounger already on the assault with Shadow Bounty there. Look at that, he's got to get defensive. Lounger's on the inside, he can't turn in that early. There's going to be contact. And Lounger leaves plenty of room, realises Shadow Bounty's there, and has to try and bide his time and wait again. AG06 now starting to escape. Keep an eye on the gap, still 3 seconds. Watch that time at the end of this lap. AG06 is in clean air because of Lounger's attack. So we'll have to try and see what pace that AG06 does have in clean air. And they're not actually that far away from the rest of the field. Stuntman Mike 24, Bandito and Max Agaba all getting pretty close together as the race hits the first quarter mark. But still, it looks like Van Panda's got the most of this so far. Not too long until we hit the end of lap number 4 then, so we can actually check up on what the lap time is. But at the moment, Lounger and Shadow Bounty still locked in war. Stuntman Mike following. Bandito there as well. Baxagabra and Jolly getting closer and closer together now as time wears on. And Jolly starting to really reel Baxagabra in. Into the penultimate corner, and he's not really going to get a move done through there, unfortunately. There we go, that's the move you want to see. And as they come across the start-finish line now, take a look at the gap then. So it's actually come down a bit. It was a 1:58.5 from AG06 that time round. We couldn't quite see Van Pandas, so we'll have to wait till the end of the next lap until we find out. And it's trying to compare driving styles, especially through that complex A. You can see the mark where, I think it was Stuntman Mike, no it wasn't Mike, sorry, it was Lolin Fox who lost it earlier on. And the driver's there taking a much more conservative line since, but one man who isn't is Mr. Jolly. He's got himself back into 8th position. A bit of a lag switch out, I think, for him, a bit of a lag moment as he comes back now, trying to attack Bax again, but there's a slow car up in front. That's Bandito. And look at Lounger and Shadow Bounty now. Those guys have pulled very close together. Ah, no, look at the pressure he's really applying now on Shadow Bounty, but we saw this last race with the other drivers in the second high skill one, the 900 to 1000, and they really were giving it their all, but this race, the drivers being maybe a little bit more respective. You've got, of course, those 2 extra laps, which are going to be absolutely vital in the long run. So you don't have to push earlier on, because at this stage now, we'd be over halfway during the race. But we're only... Oh, we've got one more lap into halfway, so I think it really is starting to get crucial now for these drivers. The second half of the race needs to be full on attack or full on defence, and for Van Panther, it is definitely the second one. He's got 3.8 seconds back to AGO6, who's seemingly not making much progress at all. He's not actually been able to get closer over the last lap or so. In fact, he's actually being caught a bit, I think, by Shadow Bounty. Indeed he is. The gap there, just 1.8 seconds, so he's either made an error, or Shadow Bounty and Lounger are both flying, despite Lounger being all over the back of him, now opening up for a move. This has been a long time coming. Lounger on the inside, then will be on the outside, though, for the next corner, through the double right-hander. And Shadow Bounty may have to surrender that one before he runs our road. And it was almost a combination of the two there. But Bounty is doing absolutely everything in his power right now to hold on before Lounger gets away. I think Lounger's got the pace and the talent to see off Shadow Bounty for a little bit there. He's done a good job, but I don't think it's going to be enough to hold the position. Great job there by Lounger. He saw the opportunity, saw the moment, and he took it with both hands. And you can always just hear the roar of the engines coming in the background, and Studman Mike now perhaps fancies a bit of Shadow Bounty. Why can't he get involved in this, he says. The gap over at the front has extended to 4.2 seconds, so unfortunately, really extending there. There's not really much that poor AGO6 can do. He's done everything he can to hold on. He had a great start to the race, it's got to be said, but I think at this stage it's been just a little bit tricky for him. And you can just feel the tension now almost, because the racing, albeit has not been as close, it has not been as competitive, but it has been is tense. It has been very tense to see these drivers being separated by 1 to 2 seconds for the last 7 laps or so, breaking out into these breakaway groups, seeing drivers make mistakes and it paying them. As soon as you make one tiny error, they start to build up, you start to make more, and this is what seems to be happening here, I think, at the moment. And as the drivers start to really try and push their way to the end of this race, they're over halfway. Over half the job is done. That means there's still half the job left to go. And for Van Panther, that means still trying to maintain that gap at the front, which he's done so well at so far. Now 4.4 back to AGO6. Lounger's coming under pressure. Shadow Bounty's dropped back to P4, as we know, after Lounger's astounding pass. And now Stuntman Mike starts to apply the pressure. So Shadow Bounty has not been able to really escape the spotlight here today. As Stuntman Mike 24 tries to reel him in. Through the final corner then to start lap number 8 out of the 12 here, and Mike's gone all very deep there. And you can see the tyres squealing in mercy as Mike pushes him over the limit, and that is going to cost him about 6/10 of a second. Leader, the gap's come down. If anything, I think AGO6 was quicker by 0.04 that time round. Well, it was 0.06 actually, I tell a lie, 600ths of a second. It was 5.2 from Van Panther and a 4.4 from AGO6. And my quick maths, which is horrific, tells me that I think that's roughly 600ths of a second. However, still the top 5 are quite close together. They're just all about a second and a half apart. Van Panther has extended his gap, I think. Yeah, he definitely has. 4.4. Let's just wait and see if it will come back down or no. So AGO6 lounges there. Shadow Bounty trying. Stuntman Mike in P5. P6 is Bandito. P7 is Baxagaba as the race slowly starts now to come to a close. We believe we lost Mr. Jolly, and that was because his game crashed to a desktop. And look at this right now. Jamie 1 starting to attack Baxagaba. Maybe this has been a long time coming as well. Up the inside he goes into the hairpin, and Baxagaba cuts across. And it seems like he's not getting through there without a fight. Makinera also coming under a lot of pressure there from Crazy Buzzy. And Panther, AGO6 there in second. Lounge is still third on lap number 9. So you've got a quarter of the race left to go. And still, it's been a fairly equal race so far. And a big moment there for Makinera. And Crazy Buzzy just going to sail past there without any issue at all. I think there must have been a bit of contact between them, and Makinera's just taken the rebound and lost control of the car. I was lucky to catch the slide and avoid slamming into the wall, to be honest, but the gap for the lead's come down just 4 seconds now. That makes this very interesting indeed. 16 minutes into the race and the gap just 4 seconds. It is slowly coming down. Try and keep an eye on those lap times next time round. In the next couple minutes, if AGO6 can keep pushing on, he must be aware that he is gaining on Van Panther, that he's slowly reeling him in now, that the time that he's after is actually a lot closer to heart than it seems. He's pulling away from Lounger. Shadow Bounty is pulling away from Stuntman Mike. Baxagaba and Jamie are still in that little war between them over P7, separated by about a tenth of a second as they enter turn number 7 there. Let's just see if Jamie can get anything going as they go through the exit. I don't think he will. They're about the same speed, in fact. He just didn't quite have the room. He didn't have enough straight to enough tarmac really to try and get himself through. But right now, Jamie back up the inside again. Maybe no. I think much better at that one. Baxagaba defends gracefully there, and will not surrender that position without any given fight. Right, I see that time 10, so it was 4.1 last time round, a 1:58.0 from Van Panther, and it's going to be a 1:58.1. Right, so it's 4.2 seconds as they start lap number 10. 3 laps to go, and Van Panther should be comfortably there. The Baxagaba battle starting to reach new heights, so as Jamie 1 was quicker that one by about 5/10 of a second. Now moves to the inside of turn 1, and Baxagaba, I like that. He didn't actually go for the overtake, he kinked out, trying to force Baxagaba wide. Psychological warfare, and it has paid off beautifully as Jamie 1 sails through. Baxagaba though trying to come back on the inside. We saw this last race with Elite Speedway and company. It was insane to watch. And now you can just really almost feel that pressure in the battle for P7, because Jamie and Baxagaba, who've been dueling away for quite some time now, have got themselves quite the optimist, I think, coming up to them, because you've got Crazy Buzzy, who's just about a tenth of a second away. He's really reeling these guys in now. We've got about a lap and a half left, I'd say, in this race, as Van Panther goes up towards the final couple of corners. AGO6 there as well, Lounger, but I think at the moment, honestly, the main battle is going to be that Crazy Buzzy back to Gaber and Jamie 1. Those guys really starting to pull each other together now. They're going to get very close towards the end of this one. And it takes big risks if you want to succeed here in a Sunday race-off. We've seen that time and time again. And I really do wonder who's going to be taking the biggest risk here today. Van Panther starts his penultimate lap there, and it's been a tremendous race for him so far. He retained his 4.2 second gap, so did actually go again a bit quicker. 500ths quicker, in fact, that time than AG06. So you've got to think, if AG06 didn't get caught up in traffic, if he didn't sink down to third position, would this race have been different? Would this race have been turned on its head if AG06 caught Van Panther? But it hasn't been this far. Van Panther has just been so far in front. He hasn't been that much faster, but in that 4-second gap, he's made such a stable lead that the cars are so evenly paced that you would need, I'd say, a good 30-odd laps of non-stop 10th quicker, 10th quicker, 10th quicker times for AG06 to get anywhere close. It would need to be lap after lap, quicker, 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 quicker to get anywhere close. Because Van Panther has been so close to the rest of the guys, but so untouchable, that once he's in that lead, there's not really much anyone else can do. Lounger maybe now attacking AG06. I wonder if AG06 trying to ease off and maybe forget about the pressure, make sure he brings the car home in second, forgets about Lounger just behind. I think I've just realised, I may be wrong, but so in the chat the ranks have said, oh, that's with a pad. Now, if Van Panther is using a control pad and he's driving this well, that is a phenomenal achievement. Now, Van Panther's always been quick in a Sunday race-off, but well, you learn something new every day. If he's using a control pad, it just goes to show you don't need a Thrustmaster T500 or a Logitech G27. You don't need to spend money on an Obeto sim rig or a twister rig or whatever have you. You don't need to spend big bucks. Get yourself a gamepad and just practice. And Van Panther has got himself that much of a gap. I never even knew he's driving that well, and I've never knew this whole time he was on a control pad. That is a tremendous start. I'm blown away by that, honestly. That's brilliant to hear. But let's see what Lounger can do then. This is going to be the main battle. On to the final lap. And Lounger really starting to draw AG06 in. AG06, all of his hard work today may not pay off, it may not be to avail. The pole sitter is under threat here to lose his second position. Into the dual right-hander they go, and AG06 clipping the apex perfectly. Lounger doing everything he can to stay with him, to synchronise his every move, to follow, to copy, to exactly do the exact same as what AG06 is doing right now, to reproduce it in such a manner that he gains time. The rest of the cars still in their own little breakaway packs at the moment, but Lounger needs to find something now. He's on the straight. I don't think he's got enough speed at all. He hasn't got enough time. AG06 rear end of his car is looking a little bit beaten up though. I'm not too sure if that was a little bit of a nudge or just my computer, but and now as we come towards the final few moments of this lap, Lounger needs to find something and find something quick. He doesn't have long to go. But there's one man. We've all heard the saying, one-man band. He plays all the instruments, and this is that one-man band. He can attack, he can defend, he's consistent, he's quick, and he's on a gamepad. Ladies and gentlemen, Van Panther is your winner for the Sim Raceway Sunday Race-Off Week 36. AG06 will hold on to P2. Third place for Lounger, and deserve it indeed. Fourth place there for Shadow Bounty. Fifth place, Stuntman Mike 24. Bandito crosses the line in sixth. Jamu 7th. 8th place Crazy Buzzy when he crosses the line. 9th place there for Baxter Gaber. 10th, oh, it's going to be close. 10th and 11th. Colin Fox is getting very close indeed. But I don't think he'll have enough time. I know he won't. He stays 11th, and Jolly is out of the race. And that rounds out our runners for today. But if there's one thing to be learned from the entirety of this Sunday race-off, it is that A, the skill quant system is a very good system. It is B, that you don't need a steering wheel to be fast. Van Panda has proved everyone wrong with that today and done a fantastic job with the control pad. So massive congratulations there. But from myself, Liam Jenkins, thank you so much for tuning in, and to No Fear C for streaming, to Kosako for organising these events, and for you, the drivers and the viewers, for making all of this possible. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you next time for the next episode of the Sim Raceway Sunday Race Off. Take care.